everybody, this is Liz Katz. Today I'm a very loose interpretation of Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's. You know, I like to leave a lot to the imagination when it comes to cosplay sometimes. It is absurdly hot, and that's why I'm not in some other type of cosplay. Originally I wanted to do like Rogue from X-Men, but we're talking 110 degrees with the humidity, that's the heat index. I'm not dealing with that. So it had been a hot minute since I've been to a convention. Not just a hot minute, it literally had been just under 3 years. We're just shy of 3 years since I've been to any sort of convention. But with COVID and the babies, and we still have COVID around and I still have the babies, it's been a while. You know, I moved to the South during COVID, and moving here, I haven't really had a chance to explore or see like what sort of fun things I'd like are here. I'm just finally kind of in this past month heading out and seeing things. And one of them was a convention, and I went to it today. It was called galaxyconraleigh, and it was different than what I'm used to. I haven't been to a small convention, like a smaller one, in a long time. I've only gone to like Comic-Con, Anime Expo, LA Comic-Con. Those were kind of the ones I'd go to the most. WonderCon too. And so this one was very different. It's definitely a lot smaller, which is both a pro and a con. It's a pro because there's, you know, in general there was less people. There's still a lot of people, but there were less, which is good. Also, it kind of felt more like everyone was just hanging out. The con. There wasn't as much there, though obviously I found something I really liked there, but it didn't have as much to offer. It didn't feel like there was like 1,000 things going on at once, and to some that might be a pro because it won't be as overwhelming as going to like one of those big conventions like San Diego Comic-Con, where it's just, you know, the whole city's doing stuff throughout the city. So that's my thing on the convention itself. I just went though I looked at the cosplay areas and saw everyone kind of getting ready, and then I just kind of walked through the main hall thing that was selling things and stuff, just because I just wanted to see, and that's kind of where I ended up having to leave. I intended on staying longer. I did. I wanted to stay for quite a few hours. I wanted to stay till at least like 7, maybe 8. But my hands were full because I spot something I like with this little foxy eye right here. When I see something I like, I have a problem. I have to get it. Especially, I have a weakness, which is anything 90s video game stuff, 90s VHSs that I like, things from my childhood. And I walked by this, and I had to have it. And I got a few games too. They were like in-box games also. And let's talk the Sega Genesis. So I, growing up, had 3 systems when I was little. We're talking about like elementary school age. Other systems came along later, but we're talking young elementary school age. Let's say 2nd grade. Let's say I was like 6 years old. We had an Atari, which was kind of, you know, to me at the time felt dated, but I still played it once in a while. We had the Nintendo, which was amazing, and that was my main system for a while as a little kid. Playing Duck Hunt, Paperboy, Mario, the original Final Fantasy on there, and a bunch of other stuff. And then eventually, and this one was in our room, mine and my sister's room, but this was my system. She didn't really play it. I had the Sega Genesis, and I loved the Sega Genesis. You're talking, you know, hours and hours, as much as I was allowed to until I was pulled out of my room, playing Sonic, a few different like Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3D Blast eventually. And there were a couple of random games too. I had some like weird baseball games that didn't make any sense. This other game with this kid that had like a soccer ball who was like hitting things in a city. I didn't have, and of course I had Mortal Kombat, which I spammed the same move over and over and over again to defeat all my enemies. So the Sega Genesis, compared to a lot of other things now, I didn't have that many games on there. And when I think back to it, you know, most of my time spent were those games. It was just hours and hours and hours and hours on only those games. they were expensive. We didn't have a lot of money at the time. I was happy to just have the Sega Genesis and the games. I didn't really know when new games came out because I was so little. I just kind of got what I got and would play it. I did see an ad though for the Sega Saturn when I was little, which I wanted. However, my parents didn't know the difference between a Sega Saturn and a Sega CD, and they got me the Sega CD at the time. This was after I had my Genesis also, and I got the little thing where the Sega CD and the Genesis kind of clicked in together. And the Sega CD, they never bought me any games on. When they got it, it was on its way out because the Sega Saturn had already existed. And I just basically had the Sega CD that was useless, and we had one game for that was like the demo game that came with it. But let's talk Genesis. This will always have a special place in my heart because during a time where we didn't have so much, I had a lot of toys, but just financially, my family didn't have much. My dad was going to school. He was in college, like a graduate program, starting his own practice, and he was working full time. Trying to just make everything work. And somehow I ended up with a Sega Genesis in my room. I was very happy. Of course, my parents, like many other parents, were of the mindset that if something kind of was old or you weren't playing as much, they tossed it. It went either get donated to his office to play with as toys there. Obviously, things like the Sega Genesis just got tossed. Which I'm kind of more of a hoarder of sorts, but an organized one of that. And I love keeping all my game systems and games. And now at this age and at this point in my life, it's about reacquiring a lot of these from childhood from the 90s. So walking by this made me really, really happy. Yeah, that's where I kind of spent all my dedicated con money. I say dedicated con money, but really I went in there with no dedicated money and the intention of not spending anything, but I got Delirious, a small thing that was Friday the 13th themed. From this one booth, it's like this box with random stuff in it. And then I pillaged the retro game booth. What's the bag? I lose it already. I couldn't just get the Sega. I had to get some games for it. They had games out, but I also had some in box, and you know, I love unboxing. So we got Mortal Kombat 2. Again, childhood game. One that I didn't have, but I am really interested in now is the Beavis and Butthead game. I got my water. I always go everywhere with water. I like to stay hydrated. And it was very hot. And then the last two things I got. The last two things I got, many of you may or may not know, I collect Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games and systems as well, and modded systems. But we got some ones that I hadn't seen in a long, long time. Batman animated series. And these I don't even know about, but when I saw them, I grabbed them. So there are two Ninja Turtle cartridges. One is Fall of the Foot Clan, and the other is Back from the Sewers. Again, I am a huge Ninja Turtles fan. I had Michelangelo show up to my 4th or 5th birthday party. Yeah. I don't know, it's a shame my dad couldn't see him seeing that. He had to step out like a few minutes before Michelangelo came. I guess he had to do some work or something. And then Michelangelo came, he was there with nunchucks, it was really cool. He was beating up the piñata. And then Michelangelo had to go and had to fight the Foot Clan. And then a few minutes later my dad came back, he missed him. I'm from a long line of dressing up for others' enjoyments. Other things about the convention itself, it was a little confusing, the convention center layout. I've just never been there before. I'm used to a lot bigger signage. Even with having the maps and stuff, I still didn't quite get that you just kind of had to go down layers to get to the main hall. So I started following people kind of around to figure out where to go. But that worked out for me. But yeah, I'm just there navigating through life with this one-eyed stalker behind people. The one downside to this one, so I've been to a lot of cons, not in a while though. Usually, the whole con smell, the whole BO issue, that's something I haven't run into a lot. You get certain whiffs at certain conventions, but not an overall smell. This convention was a stinky one. It was stinky. I'm not pointing fingers at individuals because it was like a mass of stinkiness of a lot of people. It was very hot and humid today, and you know, a lot of people are in the costumes, but you kind of got to take that in consideration with making sure you stay hydrated, making sure you put on sufficient deodorant, reapply deodorant if you need to. Gosh, carry deodorant with you. But it definitely was stinkier, and I didn't get there too late. I probably got there around 5, and it's only Friday, and that whole center already kind of has a bit of a funk to it. So I can only imagine by, you know, tomorrow night, Sunday day. So yeah, I think we need some signage reminder. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if we forgot how to person or what, but when you're going to be in close contact with a lot of people in a group setting, you know, you gotta take them into consideration too. Your personal hygiene matters. Deodorant matters. These just matter. But obviously I didn't like say anything when I was there or be like woo or anything like that, but it definitely was one of the smellier ones I've been to probably since computer shows as a kid. I'm not trying to bash you, GalaxyConraleigh, but I think people need reminders. Body odor is not a good introduction. And yes, I understand some people can't help it, but this was like a whole building-wide issue. This wasn't just like a couple individuals. This was an epidemic. And I'm not some hypocrite or anything. I showered right before I went there. I put on 2 layers of deodorant. I made sure I did my initial layer, and I was like, it's hot. Did another little layer both sides, and I was good to go. I'm feeling pretty fresh, actually. Give a few spritzes, not too many though. Didn't want to be overly perfumed either, but just a couple little whiffs. Walk by me, get a little smell like cookies. Oh no, that's a human. It's a human. It smells like cookies. So it was good to get out though. When I first got there, I don't think anyone recognized me. I just kind of was walking in. Again, I was just going to go. But at that point, I'm like holding those bags. The Sega, I had another thing too. I had my thing for Delirious. So I was just like there holding this and just trying to get out. And then I was waiting for my Uber by the door, and that's when like there was some people asking for photos and stuff. So I kept having to put down my Genesis, but I didn't want to put it down and look away because I'm like blind on the side because of the eye patch, and I didn't want anyone to like take it, which is right at the door. I don't know. I've always That's like a fear of mine, is people taking things. It's happened. It has happened. I don't care how good a crowd is, just takes one bad person and boop, there goes your Sega Genesis. But I still had a really good time. I would have spent longer there had I had someone come with me to hold my stuff. Or if I had driven myself, but I didn't want to drive. I don't like convention center parking normally. I just like to be able to Uber in. And that way I can just Uber out too without having to go find my car again and deal with that. But the downside of that is then once your hands are full, you gotta leave. Or pause in this case. But it was fun. It was fun to be able to get out. I really appreciate being able to get out. And I appreciate that there is a convention relatively close by to go to. Maybe next year I'll go as a guest. I don't know. I say that, but I'm like the worst for planning those things out. I'm always like, I'm kind of like the Grinch when it comes to conventions. There's a lot of, yeah, convention, I'll go. And there's the, what will I wear? Especially having just had the babies and stuff, and everything fits, and yeah, and it's hot. And so I was like digging everything out and trying a bunch of things on, and I was like, nope, not going. And then finally, in the end, I set it on whether I'd find my business cards or not, is when I'd go if I found them, and I did, so I ended up getting ready and going. And this is what I came up with. And it's funny too, because since I moved into her neighborhood, people don't really know me yet. I mean, a lot of my neighborhood people don't know me, but my whole thing with outrageous outfits that I will just go outside in and stuff. So that I've been pregnant most of the time here and then dealing with babies, so I just kind of started being me again with things. And of course the Uber parks in front of my neighbor's house, so I'm just like walking over there like, hey, how you doing? Afternoon! Which is something all neighbors of mine, eventually become accustomed to. But it's been a while with these ones, and I think that this area is generally more conservative, and I'm an erotic robotic fox person. You know, one of the things, I know there were a lot of kids and stuff at conventions nowadays too. I don't bring little kids to conventions. They're chaotic, there's a lot going on, it gets stepped on. It's just, to me, I'm not comfortable with it. I've tried it before with my oldest, and it was kind of a disaster. But one day, I gotta go and wash this fake blood off because it's definitely sticky. It's very sticky. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more of my stuff. You guys rock.